offices, restaurants, garages, yards. You could call them for power washing, events, for your floor, for your carpet, and be fully insured. Call Clear Touch Superior Cleaning now at 609-933-4777. 609-933-4777. Call them right now.
Get on the ball. Get on the ball. What's up? What's up? We are the Freestyle Freaks on HamiltonRadio.net. I'm Ralphie Ryan, and on my right hand is not Billy the Kid, but it's on my left today. What's up, Billy? How are you? I don't know. He may have.
Juice. Hey yo.
What is up? What's up?
What's up?
How was your weekend? What did you get into?
It was awesome, man. It was fun filled.
What'd you do?
I did a video shoot for a rap video for an upcoming artist, which is supposed to air in 30 seconds on TRL.
Somebody actually put you in a rap video?
Yeah, they did.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's pretty hot, man.
And guess what? I was supposed to be one of the ratchet friends, like, because he gets married and he changes his life around, and he's having a reunion with his friends. But
so you're the bad influence.
Yeah, and his wife doesn't get the memo until later that all of it, like, we're all up in the refrigerators. He got chips all over the house, and he's trying to explain to his wife that he's no longer like that anymore. But like by the end of the video, we turned his family into that. So his wife is all talking with the lingo, and his kids are talking with the lingo. So he goes, well, if you can't beat him, join him. But by the end of the video that he gets like this, we're all like, wait a minute, why are you acting like that? No, we didn't mean that. Like, no, everybody's all civil.
So
here.
he kind of overdid it.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yeah. Then I went on to a comedy show that same day.
So you were really busy this weekend.
Up and down the highway.
That is amazing. Well, you know, Friday I had a bonfire, just a little get together.
I saw.
You know, I'm getting too up there to want to go out to the local spot.
Did you ever get the cigars?
I actually got a cigar.
Congrats.
First one in a while. I gave up the cigarettes, so I don't really do the cigars as much. You know, every once in a blue moon, just to enjoy, a long week. My daughter, obviously went through surgery for the ear tubes and chop.
Yeah, she okay?
She did good.
Shout out.
It was she's my hero. She's been through 3 of these surgeries. I have never been through any kind of surgery. I'm very proud of her. I worked Saturday, and yesterday I had dinner with friends, and today I dressed up really nice. Not because I wanted to. I had an interview for another opportunity at another location, and I'm feeling optimistic, feeling positive. No matter if I'm not the right guy or not, it's building up my character.
Yeah, it works out.
And of course I clean up nice.
Yeah, you do.
Instead of my interview
everything.
was earlier, and I said, I'm not going to change. I got a big show tonight,
yes.
So I'm going to stay. I'm going to throw everybody off, and like, oh my God, Ralph is dressed nice.
You look real Calvin Klein model.
This is the first time I actually put a suit on the show.
Good. Sharp, man. You a sharp kid.
We have an amazing guest tonight.
Yeah.
Great friend of mine, Mr. Paul PEREZ. He is running for the 2018 May 8th election for the mayor. How are you? Paul? How was everything?
I'm fine. Can you guys hear me? I don't think this mic is on though, but I'm doing just fine.
Good.
I'm happy to be here. I can't hear it. Can you hear it at all?
Uh-oh, here's Ruben as usual. He's got to make his entrance.
Ruben made it to the
He's got to put his every time.
Ruben Ruben made it. Ruben made it to the video.
Oh, there you go.
It's okay.
Can you hear me now? Nope, I
Yes,
can't
yes,
hear
we
it.
can hear.
See,
We
see,
can
see.
hear.
A little bit.
All right.
We got action.
No, Tyrone. Well, I guess we'll have to go.
Oh, we
that's-
got him. We got him.
interesting.
Put him,
That's
put,
interesting.
put him up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And put me
I
up
like
just
I like
a tad
that thing
bit
to
too.
sound
right,
loud.
right.
Where's your speaker at up here?
We have.
There you go.
No sound here, Ruben.
How about now, Ruben? Give me some more juice here.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
Put one.
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Put one up too a little.
See,
What?
You getting there?
there you go. How about now?
Yes,
That's
yes,
better.
yes,
Now we sound like
yes.
we just got into the room. Now,
Now we now.
good gracious, we was outside knocking on the door for a long time. Wow.
Oh, okay.
So thank you very much, Ralph, to having me here tonight, and Billy, good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
We're happy. We're excited about what's getting ready to happen in our city. We've been doing the tour, the regular tour, going around seeing everybody. But the biggest thing for us is we didn't just start doing this thing yesterday. You know what I mean?
This is actually your second time on the show.
Well, second time on the show, but we've been running for mayor now of the city for about 6 years.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and when I say that, I mean it, because we've been actually out there helping the people as much as we could or can, and engaging them in such a way that's impactful, not just for them, but for us. We learn from them, they learn from us. We create opportunities for our children.
I believe it.
A lot of people don't realize, man, we send, on average about 300 kids per summer. We send them to summer school. To summer camp. And it's not a regular camp. It's a science, technology, and engineering camp through a partnership that we created with partnerships for Trenton and Princeton Blairstown Center. It's an awesome opportunity for them to get out there and learn new things. It's about $750 per student. So when you start putting all of that money together, you see that we're giving them real opportunities that our children, Trenton children, normally wouldn't get.
Yeah, growing up, I never had that opportunity.
So we've been doing some amazing things out there. Of course, I'm a veteran.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I'm proud of being a veteran. Served 20 years and 23 days. Right?
God bless you. God bless
How
you.
old are you, Ralph?
You really 30? I'm turning 39 this year.
Yeah, exactly.
He's asking me the questions.
Right on the spot. He learned last time around.
That's right.
About this time.
That's right. Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize. When I was 18 years old, I decided to to go out and protect this country and leave the disco scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While they were partying and everything else, and having a young life, I was out there sacrificing and doing what people who do public service do.
And we greatly appreciate that.
And you got to remember that. So you really have to understand that there are people who come from our city who don't always brag about what we do.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's right.
But I think it's come to a moment now where I got to really explain in detail to everybody that I've really been working, and I've been working for a long time. It didn't just start yesterday.
And I'm a witness to that, because I've been out to public events that a lot of civic associations put together, and you don't see a lot of numbers and names, but you always see Paul PEREZ is out there, always. And listen, I was out there at the vigil for Puerto Rico. He was out there, and that was in September.
That was yeah.
That was in September. And he nonchalantly, hey, Ralph, how you doing? And I'm like, this guy is so busy, and yet he has time to take time out of his busy schedule to go and be a part of that, be a part of a historical vigil like that, and take time to say hi to people. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome. But what I want everybody to know is I'm just a regular Trentonian, man. You know what I mean? I went to Parker School. I went to Junior 5. I went to Trenton High School. I hung out on Center Street, Market Street, Princeton Avenue, Sweets Avenue when I was growing up, So a lot of the guys that they were just celebrating the basketball victory the other day. And when I went to go see them put the billboard up, I ran into some of the guys that went to school with me, because they went through the Group 4 back then. And it was interesting because that was my class of 1980. Unfortunately, I I didn't graduate with them because I thought I was ready for the real world already, and I got out of school and immediately joined the military. But you know, people have to realize, man, that when you go after something as important as the position of mayor of this city, you have to have done something to understand the complexities of what comes with the job. You know what I mean?
This is a historical election. It's to me, the most historical of our time in Trenton. You know, it's not just your normal election.
Right.
This is a lot of candidates.
Well,
it's a lot of normal people.
Well, it's historical in the fact that we've gone through some very terrible times, and we don't want it to get worse. We want it to get better. Everybody does. You know, when you walk through the city streets, and I knock on the doors, and I talk to the parents, and I talk to the regular people who live in the city, they all know what the problems are.
Absolutely.
They're not looking for me to say to them, hey, I know what your problem is. It's, you know, contaminated water, potholes in the streets, you know, policing or whatever else they're going to say. No jobs, you know what I mean? Drugs, violence. Everybody sees it. What they're looking for is who's best prepared to give us a solution.
Who has the solution and the remedy?
Right. That's right.
I like that. I like that.
You have anything before I go in? You see, I just jumped right over to you.
Yeah. You know, as far as you know, policy-wise, I feel all of the policies. You know, definitely are the outlines that I am aware of, but also for me personally, because everybody's different when it comes down to stuff like this. I go off of character.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Character, like you have an amazing character. Remember the first time meeting you when you came here before, and my shoulder, like I was so nervous, and, like my shoulders were like all tense, and it was just something about. And this was real significant to me. And you sat back in a chair and you crossed your leg, and it's like it just put me to. I'm like, he just sat down like a real comfortable dude. Like you had to see me, like I'm nervous. My shoulders are all tight. I'm like, hey, Paul, you know, just calm down, sir. You know, come on, like come on there. And I said, you know what? I like that about the character.
Well, I appreciate that.
Like real laid back dude. I like that.
I appreciate that. Listen, I am from the people, man. I'm from here. You know what makes
me feel like.
You know what makes me just a little bit different than everybody is that I'm from here. I had an amazing opportunity to do things and achieve, and then I decided to come back. See, that's really what sets me apart from all these guys. You know, someone who has been living or who was living an amazing lifestyle the way that I was, and being blessed by God and having the opportunity to lead in so many different positions that sometimes these guys can't even figure them out. It makes them wonder. It's unbelievable to them because they talk about their character, and they know that for them, they would have never left that to come back to Trenton. But see, that's the difference between them and me, my love for this city, and then my dedication to seeing it be better, right? And then all of those children that we leave behind when we make a mistake of voting people in just because we know them.
Exactly.
Or just because, you know, it's a friend of ours or somebody's relative, you know what I mean? Because it sounds cool and it's exciting when you're campaigning. But when the campaign is over and the election has been won and you pick the wrong person, then you end up, that's right, you end up with what we got. And I came back to give back. See? I've been in situations where, you know, as a young man, I grew up in a family of 15. I'm number 11 of 15 kids. So we learned very quickly what teamwork was all about. We also learned very quickly to be unselfish. You know what I mean? Because we weren't going to always have good things. You know, and it's not a cliche with me, man. We were poor. Okay? We were really poor.
I can relate to that.
You know what I mean? We were hungry. We were poor. You know? So we appreciated everything that we got. Now, I took that hunger with me throughout the course of my career, and I made something out of it. So now when I come back and I go to Rivera School, which is my school, used to be Junior 5, and I see those kids sitting in that seat, I tell them, listen, I used to sit in your seat. I used to sit right there where you're sitting at right now. And I used to think about what I was going to do when I get a little bit bigger or I have an opportunity to take advantage of. And all I want you to do is focus because you can do the same thing.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I'm not focusing on anything other than how can we make them better? How can we provide them the same kinds of opportunity that I was blessed with, and I was smart enough to take advantage of.
Well, I got a question. As mayor, if you win the election, you obviously know you can't do the job alone by yourself.
Right.
It also takes the community. It takes the whole entire community, not just a council, not just a clerk or the police or the director, or the governor. It takes a full participation of the complete community, complete state. What are your emphasis? What are your thoughts on that? How we can all engage together, work together as one?
Well, I think Billy actually hit it on the head when he said, it's about respect. And see, it doesn't matter where I elevate to, I still respect you the same way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I want people to feel that I'm approachable. You can come to me. We can talk. We can sit down and we can talk about your issues. And you can guarantee yourself that I'm going to listen to you. And if I can help you immediately, I will. If I can't, we're going to put a plan together to get it done. Tonight I got some special people with me. I got my campaign manager, Mr. Tyrone Gaskins. I have my legal lead over here, Miss God is Ike. I have my secretary, which is Mr. Mike Ronaldo. I have one of my advisors, Mr. Cal O'Neill. And then in the background, of course, Mr. Sam Koenig, my digital manager. I know I can't do it by myself. These guys are the ones that make it happen. You saw how they fussed before the show started. You got to do this, you gotta do that, right?
Listen,
because that's their role, right?
You have a great, amazing team.
And
I gotta say that.
And then we take that and we extrapolate. We push it throughout the course of the community. We go into the community and we make sure. Well, somebody told me the other day when I was with Cal, what we like about you, Perez? You in the gut. That's what they said.
You go right in there. You go right in.
And I said, what does that mean?
You right in.
And they said, okay, because you here, you're in North Trenton, you in the gut, but they're in the projects, and they see me everywhere, and I'm not just there to be seen. I'm there to do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So being a mayor, you have to be a leader, and you also have to leader not only in leading policies and leading procedures, but a leader in motivational. Spiritual way, where people say, I want to follow you. You know what I mean? Emotionally intelligent enough to understand what people are going through. You know what I mean? So that you can then reach down or reach up or reach sideways and touch everybody, because people are living through some real struggles right now. A lot of them, everybody has different level of struggle, but everybody struggles.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then here's the funny thing about struggle. Struggle doesn't pick you based on the color of your skin.
No.
Struggle comes at you.
Yeah.
And if you don't have somebody next to you, it can get you. Right. So we're just trying to create an environment where we're bringing in good people who are going to instill the same discipline and same characteristics that I have, so that we can then spread it across the city and bring in more people and lift them up. That's what we're all about.
Man, your ear is so far, to the ground. Like, your feet are so planted in this. And a lot of the things you don't have to do. A lot of the places you don't have to go. Mm-hmm. And, you could tell the genuine of a person, right? Just like how you said, when you said people said that you were in the gut. Mm-hmm. And then you followed that with, I'm not just there, to be seen. I'm there to get stuff done. The genuineness of it all is that your ear is so far in the ground. I mean, your presence is in the crevices of every corner of Trenton. When I brought up that I do the comedy shows, and he just instantly go, champions, right? I'm like, yeah. He said, I thought I had stopped through there. And so that's in the crevices. He didn't have to be nowhere around it. That's nothing that, this is a perfect place to, try to, campaign or whatever the case may be. It's just, just hanging out. Around.
You have to know your city. Mm-hmm. You really have to know your city if you want to lead your city, right? And it's almost as if I'm conducting a daily needs assessment.
Yeah.
Right? And people some people call it a listening tour. I don't call it a listening tour. I call it a needs assessment. What are your needs and how can I meet them? Or what are your needs and what resources can I get you? Or what are your needs and how can we fix that? You know what I mean? So it's a needs assessment, and the only way to do that is to get around and really see what's going on in this town. You know, and again, leadership has no color, so you can't just go to one section and say you've done what you're supposed to do. You got to go across the city and talk to everybody in every angle at every level.
That would just be so awesome, though. Like the mayor stopped by my comedy show. The mayor stopped by the comedy show. What was he doing? He was just in the neighborhood, just checked in to make sure everything is all right.
But the thing is, he does do that. He genuinely does. Listen, he does that. I've bumped into him at crazy spots, and he said, "Hey, what's up?"
Don't tell them all though.
No, not crazy spots. I'm just saying places you wouldn't expect him to be there. I was at Mercer County College one day. We bumped into each other.
That's
I'm
right.
like, "Hey, Paul, how you doing?" And he just anytime I see him, it's genuine hello.
That was the thought that I had. That was the thought that I had, and the look that was on my face, like, how you know my comedy shows is at? Yeah, right.
He's watching you. He's watching you.
No, it is just it's just that we go ahead and we want to be as open as possible to get out there and see people where they're having fun, where they're hurting, where they're living, where they're working, where they're playing. We have to make sure, to answer your question, that we go out there and really see and know what the playing field looks like.
You also want to make yourself approachable.
Right. That's right. That's right.
No mayor, a bad mayor is a mayor that can't be approached.
Right.
And you make yourself readily available
everywhere,
anywhere and everywhere. And that's I think that's important for a real leader to check comments. Okay, I'll check the comments. I can't see them from here.
Oh my goodness.
But I think that's back to what I was saying. I think that's really really important for a leader to engage in in the city of Trenton.
Right. Well, listen, if you vote somebody in who doesn't understand that they work for the people, we have a problem already. And that's the biggest thing that you got to understand. But you can't just go in there with rhetoric. You got to go in there with skill set, and you got to go in there knowing what you're about to do, because if you don't, you'll fall behind.
We got a caller on. Just hold on one second. By the way, I want to shout out to Eric Starlin, a friend of mine. He wants to sign on his porch. We got to get him a sign.
Absolutely. Thank you, Eric.
Shout out to Mike Torres, Magic
Mike.
Entertainment.
Magic Mike.
DJ Juice as well.
Shout out to DJ Juice.
DJ Juice.
Zane.
Yeah.
Also Ruben. Justin. Lily.
All right.
Shout out to everybody. You can handle some of those comments. It's too, but like I said, I think it's really, really important that you engage the town. You engage the people.
Right.
People see you, that you exist. Unfortunately, the current administration is non-existent, and that's a really big issue for the city.
Well,
and I'm not trying to bash them here. I'm not trying to bash their administration, but as I see it, I think that you are leading an example, and you're starting a very major trend of how to engage the city properly.
It almost made me feel like it was like a who am I to have Paul PEREZ know about my
he's still on it.
yeah and like not just me, but like the average person is like, wow, like who am I? You know what I'm saying? To just had this conversation.
Caller, turn on your audio, caller.
The thing is that everybody counts, guys.
Turn down the audio.
Right.
And
Caller, turn down the audio.
You can make folks feel like everybody counts.
That's a good feeling. That's a real good feeling.
We have a caller.
Right.
Caller, how you doing? Thank you for calling HamiltonRadio.net channel. This is channel 2. We're the Freestyle Freaks. Thank you for calling. Who's calling?
No, we can't hear him.
Caller? Can we get back to that? Oh, they're calling back. Call him. Thank you for calling Hamilton Radio. We're the Freestyle Freaks. I'm Ralphie Rotten, and this is Billy the Kid. Thank you for calling. Who is calling?
What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, I'm calling from Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, my goodness.
What's up,
Phoenix,
Phoenix?
Arizona. Good
Phoenix
gracious.
in the house. Phoenix, Arizona's in the
Phoenix
house.
is in the house.
How is
I want
everything?
to shout out to my brother, Paul Perez.
Oh,
Good gracious. You know, I told you I have a family. There's 15 of them. One of them was going to embarrass me. You know what I mean? And I am the baby boy, you know, so I love you, sweetheart.
Yes, I love you too. We want to say we love you.
Absolutely.
We're all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. We can't vote in Trenton, but to give my love to my brother, and we gonna win this.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Now,
That's my baby right there.
That's my sister, Chuchi Rosa, and she's an awesome drummer too, man. Yeah, she's an awesome drummer. Yeah, way better. She definitely surprised me with some of her skill sets. Thank you all in Phoenix and in Scottsdale. I love all of you guys. Now I'm gonna have to say I love all of my brothers and sisters in all of the different states that you live in.
Actually,
and I'm
there's
so.
2 of us over here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hey Sandra.
Yeah,
See that? I told you, man. I love you too, sweetheart. I love you. I love you too. Tell my brother Andy that I love him too.
We will.
Okay. I love you guys.
we have another caller.
Hey,
Caller, how you doing? Wait,
love you too. Yeah, all my friends out in Trenton are telling me. All my friends out in Trenton are reaching out to me, telling me that, oh, I didn't know Paul Perez was your brother.
But that's all right because I'm a sister too from Georgia.
All right. Well, hey guys, listen. We're gonna continue to go on. I just want to tell you that I love you. And when they call you, just remind them to vote on May the 8th. Push lever or ballot number 4 for Paul Perez for mayor.
But Paul, I do have a question that I have a friend that asked. That
Oh,
she
here
wants
comes
to know,
Shaka.
what are you going to do after you become mayor? How are you going to stay in the face of the people?
Oh wow! Now that's my sister Mildred. I had no idea she was there. So that's 3 of them there now. So
Milagros.
So okay, Milagros. So here's what I would say, because this is what we were just talking about. My visibility in the community is not just something that I turn on and turn off. You know, that's the kind of person that I am. I'm out there because I want the people to know exactly who I am. I want them to understand where I come from, and I also want them to understand that they can achieve exactly what I achieved. Sometimes when people see you successful, it's intimidating. And when you try to explain to them what you've done, it's hard to believe, to imagine. But when you touch them and we sit down and talk to them, then they start to open themselves up and they say, wow, you know, if you did it, then yes, I can do it. And this is what's missing in our youth's lives right now. Real examples, not people, you know, I don't have anything against reentry programs, okay? I hired 45 guys in a consulting firm that I had who were reentry individuals. But we need to start teaching our kids and touching them before they make a mistake.
Absolutely.
You know, and we have to have, instead of putting guys coming out of jail in front of them, we need to put people who haven't been in jail before them, before they get in trouble. You know, and then creating opportunities for them so that they don't go down that impossible road.
I have a valid I guess suggestion. What about whatever happened to community service? Why instead of filling up, you know, the county and overcrowding it, why can't we can't, you know, create a community service program that actually works and they can help clean the city? You know, it's the city it could use a lot of cleanup.
These are a valid. This is a valid point that could be used. Matter of fact, the county still uses it. You still see the county guys doing it, but that's because they're president. But we're talking about instead of taking them before the magistrate or before the municipal judge, we have to look into what is the county doing at its juvenile court system. Yes. You know, and what role are we playing to try and rehabilitate or refocus their energies before they become a matter of the system. Right. You know, so those are very important things for us, but this is only happening because they don't have opportunities. This is it, man. You know, everybody's talking about all these big dreams and all that stuff. You know, listen, we got to get back to the basics first, man, before we can still or we can really put something together for them. So the reason why we talked about who I am is because we want to distill all of these schoolyard type myths that are being put together.
Absolutely.
No, I am not a Republican. I just fought in 3 wars. That's all. And I fought in 3 wars because I was protecting you. I was getting ready to say something ass. I was getting ready to say something else. And it still came out. But, because it makes you wonder, what good are they? And why are they talking? And how dare you talk that stuff when you've never even sacrificed once for anybody? But you want to try and front now like you somebody special. Never left probably, the border of Trenton and Hamilton. You know what I mean? And you want to bring some worldly advice to some children, and you haven't even read it out the book correctly. Yeah. Now you have somebody like me who should be an example for our city, because I'm not after anything, man. I'm a retiree. I've been retired 18 years. That's why I asked you how old you were earlier, right?
he had to go back to that age.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Because,
They don't forget about that. They didn't forget about that
because
again.
people need to know that I'm not doing this for a paycheck, man.
No, I appreciate.
In fact, somebody said it to me very smartly. This is a pay cut for me. Okay? So I'm not in it for the money. And look, I'm wearing a nice tie and a sweater. I don't need to wear the funky suit. I've worn it a lot of times in my life, thousands of dollar suits, even though you look nice tonight. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying because they go out there and they say these ridiculous things, and it has nothing to do with what we're really facing, which is concentrated poverty, which keeps our kids out of the game, right? We have people who purposefully oppress the system
Absolutely.
to keep them down, and then when you look at them, they don't have the first qualification to lead, but they want to be the first ones talking.
Amazing. We're gonna go off script here. Growing up, since we were talking about music, what was your favorite genres of music?
Well, I am naturally Puerto Rican, so in my house, in my home, there was always a lot of singing, always a lot of playing of guitar by my father, singing by my mother, and then of course percussionist because I'm a percussionist, and so we grew up on what we called traditional Puerto Rican music, which was arguinandos, paso dobles. Then we switched into.
I seen that video of you out there.
Oh yeah.
Theo on the drums.
That was a film that was done on the corner
beautiful.
of Academy and Stockton Street, where we were trying to demonstrate what it was when that was the Puerto Rican barrio back when I was growing up, and the style of community that we had back then. Everybody had community. You had people. We often talk about that. You didn't have to lock your doors. If you got in trouble, somebody else's mama got you.
I went through it. Yes, I went through it.
but modern times has changed those values and that structure. So it's kind of difficult for us to try and go back to it. We can yearn for it all we want to, but how do we get back there? I don't think that we can get back to that one because the laws have changed. Yes. Even if I like you and you like me, if my little baby runs across the street and you whip him with a belt,
that's a lawsuit.
There's going to be a problem.
That's some charges.
That's right. So when back then it was acceptable because that was the standard. That was something that people did back then because they didn't mean any harm. It was done without.
Was raising the
Right.
children.
The community was raising the child. Right.
So it's a lot of times you push words around and you don't even know what they mean, man. But there are other avenues that we can be approaching, and the other avenues that we can be approaching is treat one another with respect. If you're going to be the next mayor, which is what I want to be. I want people to vote me in, and so that I can be a mayor. I can't wait to be the mayor.
Listen, I can't wait to be there.
Listen, if I was the mayor, I'll be there right now. Right now, it'd be 9:46 at night, and you have to take me away because there's work to be done. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's not a game for me, man. It's something that I've been. If I feel like God has prepared me for this very moment. I've been through so much struggle. And achievement at the same time that it would blow your mind. And guess what? I'm still here. So he has a real purpose for me. Exactly. And I have to understand that purpose, and I just have to keep listening to his voice and disregard these other people's voice and go forward. All I want is those who hear me and the people who see me that understand that we have an awesome opportunity to make this change. But I can't do it by myself, Rob.
No,
And Billy.
absolutely.
They got to get out there. They got to get involved. Call your friends. Call your family. Talk to them right now. Get on the phone right now.
Give us a
text
call.
right now.
Call us.
Volunteer. You know, but we got to make sure that we come out and vote.
Yes, it's I think it's really, really important that listen, no matter who you vote for, whoever you're made up, whoever you're voting for, whether it's Paul or not, listen, you got to get out.
No, we want you to just vote for Paul Perez.
Absolutely,
May the 8th,
absolutely,
2018.
Listen, Paul
Don't
obviously
forget
wants
that.
you to vote for him.
Paul Perez,
May 8th.
May the 8th,
But
2018.
You have to get out and vote. You have to get
Yes, you
out
do.
and vote.
Yes,
you know,
you do.
if you're not registered, register.
Well, I think tomorrow, in fact, tomorrow is the last day for you to be able to register to vote. So tomorrow you got to get up wanting to go do it. It takes all. Matter of fact, you don't even have to go anywhere. Just go on the internet, download the application. It takes you all of 1 minute to fill out, and then you could drop it off, and you'll be on the voter registration roster.
And if you're unable to do that, you need to stop by 155 North Broad and pick up a voter registration application.
Thank you for adding that. Thank you, because some people may not, have access to the internet, and some people may not know where to get that.
Right.
Can you give that address?
Repeat. I was just about to say
That's
that.
Paul
Repeat the
Perez
address again.
Campaign headquarters, 155 North Broad Street. The phone number is 609-498-0568. www.paulperezformayor.com.
Thank you. And if you missed it, you can go back on the feed and you can rewind it and you can pause it, and this way you don't miss that opportunity to be counted to vote. Paul,
Yes, sir.
you stressed the how the community, but how, and we're never going to get back to those aspects of how the community used to be. How can now, I know we may have almost answered this, but how can we make the community better?
Well, again, listen, everybody has to work together. When I say everybody, the first thing we need to do in Trenton is we need to elect a good mayor. I'm going to stay on that because that's what I'm here for, okay? Because I'll give you an example, Ralph. For the past 6 years, I've been running for mayor. But that's not the only thing I've been doing, okay? We talked about that.
You've been giving
listen,
back?
my wife and I, and she's probably the smartest person I know, okay? No, she is the smartest person I know, okay? And it's because of her that I'm where I am. We decided to stay in Trenton. We opened up a nonprofit called the Partnerships for Trenton, okay? Through that nonprofit, man, we did so many incredible things in this city. For the veterans, we supported and donated money and helped to create the first Veterans of Foreign War in the city of Trenton, post 12165, which is led by our commander, Mr. Luddy Austin, all right? For the seniors, we created the Seniors Health and Wellness Task Force for seniors and mobility impaired, okay? And that's the seniors. We started in the west, we went over to the north, and then we covered some of the south, okay, in that task force. For the students, the one time that you saw me out there one of the times that you saw me out there in Mercer County Community College,
you were there for the students.
we had 600 students, middle grade or middle school students, we were co-sponsors to bring them out to Mercer County Community College to give them a day experience in a university or college campus, right? My wife and I opened up our house, man, and we raised $4,500 for those kids, all right? We did it again when we were trying to support the New Jersey State Healthy Schools program, when we found out that our kids were having a hard time concentrating and learning in the classroom because it was too hot. We raised another $4,500, and we bought air conditioners for the school at Woodrow Wilson School. You know, I just told you that we averaged 250 kids per summer that we were sending to the science, technology, engineering, and math summer camp, man. So we've been doing it. You see, we're not talking. We've been doing it. We know how to do this, and we've done it despite not being in City Hall. Now, Can you imagine, with all of the resources available to City Hall, how many people we can touch and how much community we can really build?
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
That is amazing. I don't know if a lot of people, or I don't know if you've been asked this. I hear Trenton is a sanctuary city. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, my thoughts are that when people come to this country, first of all, when they come to this country, a lot of them come escaping a really nasty and ugly reality. And I can say that with real authority because I've actually lived in Latin America, okay? And I served in Latin America and the Caribbean as a soldier, all right? So I saw the ugliness of the conflicts of Guatemala, Honduras, and what's been going on down in El Salvador. You know, I lived for a while in Venezuela, you know, and then of course I had two tours that took me into Puerto Rico itself, and then through that I was able to serve in places like Panama and Colombia. So when these individuals come to this country, man, they're running away from a mad circumstance, and they are looking towards America as leaders because we represent leaders. That's what sets us apart from the entire world, is the fact that we can open our arms and welcome people here.
We're supposed to be a true melting pot.
Well, not only a melting pot, but we are the leaders of the free world. Okay, what we do is we set the example. That's why we can't have a big old bully like we got in 45 right now, because that's not the example that we set. You know, what we do is we're supposed to bring people in and help them. Okay, most of them want to go back to their countries anyway. Okay, if you notice, a lot of them work and they send money back and they build. You know, because they still have that dream of going back. But what happens is the American dream catches up to them, and if their children are either going to school, which are the DACA kids, or the kids who are born here, now they're Americans. Now they got a choice to make, because how can you send somebody back to a country that they don't know?
Exactly.
You know,
that's a great question.
So these are big things, and then let me show you again, because as the vice president of the Latino Leadership Alliance of the state of New Jersey, you know, I was on the steps of the state capitol protesting against Chris Christie when he signed the amicus brief trying to discredit or discount President Obama's executive order to give them a relaxed sense of safety here in this country. I did that. Okay, I don't remember looking around and seeing anybody else there. All right, so these are real things that I've done. I'm not just saying it just to say it. I do it because I love everyone equally, and I think that when people ask you to assist and help them, if you have that ability, man, you have an obligation.
Yes, I agree, 100%. Since we're talking about Christie's out the door. We have a new guy in office. What are your thoughts on him? Are you ready and open? You know, because Christie turned his back on Trenton. Mm-hmm. You know, he ignored the fact that the Capitol that he was supposed to be sitting on didn't exist behind him until he basically walked out the door. What are your thoughts process on the new governor?
Well, first of all, let me say that I think the entire United States of America is happy that Christie is gone, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So we'll just leave that at that. But here's what I'll follow up with. I had the opportunity again as the vice president of Latino Leadership Alliance to meet Governor Murphy one-on-one in small groups as the leader of that statewide agency or a statewide organization. And I find him to be approachable. I find him to be a man of confidence. He has a lot of ideas. But listen, reality has to set in. New Jersey is a financially strapped state.
100%.
Okay? So he's got a lot of problems that he needs to fix. Okay? He's going to try and help as much as he can. So we will welcome that assistance, but we cannot only depend on that, because it won't be realistic if we do that, okay? So that's the reason why you need a leader who is truly prepared to take on Trenton and all the issues that we face, okay? It's not as easy as just saying, I'm going to go to the State House and demand my money.
It's not that
If they
easy.
don't have that money, where you going to get it from?
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
can't get blood from a turnip, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you hear people make those statements, it's kind of immature of them, okay? Because we got to deal with what we have. And we have real resources here that if we properly manage first our workforce, because what's happening is the people in City Hall are the ones that are carrying all this burden on their shoulders. But they need the resources to do it. And they need a real leader that's going to help them get to where they need to in performance, okay? I bring that to the table, okay? I've led people in the military. I led them in the combat zones. I led them in Latin America when it was just small fire teams with the Secretary of Defense. You know, I led them in the big corporate America where I was a vice president. I led them in the public sector or the federal government when I was a senior executive, you know. And then I came to Trenton and I opened up my own consultancy and at the same time to help the community, we created a nonprofit. Listen, we've done it already. We've done it already. We've done it over and over and over again. It's our time to teach everybody else how to do it.
Paul, growing up, what did you want to be when you were a child? What did you want to be?
Man, honestly, when I was growing up, you know, I wanted to be like Huckleberry Finn. You know what I mean? I just wanted to run through the streets. I wanted to go fishing. You know, I wanted to ride my bike. You know, I had a beautiful life as a young man. I really did. And my mom, if my mom was alive today, she'll tell you because I was such a mama's boy. You know, I was studious. You know, I was well behaved but mischievous, right? And I was just living free. And then I think when I turned like 14 years old, man, I saw this girl, and my whole life went upside down. You know
Usually that's what happens.
You know, I had long hair. I cut it. You know, I was like Solomon, man. I lost all my powers, man.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
You know, but it brought a big focus to me, and it changed my life. So to answer your question, what did I really want to be when I was growing up? You know, most children always are taught to think about being, you know, something of a community example, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, you know, and I always had an interest in law.
You know, truthfully, I'm gonna tell you. You know what I grew up wanting to be? A Trenton cop. Obviously, my age have already done past that. But I also grew up wanting to be a Trenton mayor. That is God honest truth. So you're inspiring to me.
Good.
You know, I appreciate you. You know, I appreciate all you do for the city. Whether listen, I've seen it. You've built, you've given back, so I appreciate it. You know, not a lot of people know that growing up, I wanted to be the Trenton mayor.
Now that's
Thank you
awesome.
for sharing that.
You know,
Yeah, that is awesome because I'm telling you right now.
these guys didn't even know that.
Wow.
That's awesome. I never thought that I would be the mayor of the city.
Well, we need you to be the mayor.
You know, I just thought that I would be happy. I knew that I was in love. I'm still in love, but I'm telling you, man, when I saw my wife, it changed my whole life, and all I wanted to be was happy with her. That's it. You know, and I remember we were so young. We were 16 years old, and I know she's probably watching, saying, "Man, he better not tell that story."
Tell the story.
There it is.
You know, but we were 16 years old, and we wanted to get married, man. And back then, you had to have your parents' signature.
Yeah.
You know, so her father signed for her, but her mother would not. You know, so we couldn't get married, so we eloped. Okay, and I had to leave school. I left school 3 months in the 11th grade. I went and paid $5. I went to Mercer County Community College, and I paid $5, and I took the GED test. You know, and then I said, okay, what am I going to do now? So we ended up, she stayed in high school, and we moved in with my mom. My mom and my dad gave us the attic space, and she got me a job at Mercer Hospital in the kitchen, you know, washing dishes and delivering meals to the floors. And that's how we started. That's how we got our start, you know. But shortly thereafter, you know, I met a couple of people who were very influential in my life and knew that I had aspirations of one day going to college. And a gentleman named Jeffrey Laurenti at the time was the executive director of the state Senate majority. And he interviewed me, and he got me into college. So I went to college for 2 semesters. And of course, my wife was graduating from high school then, which was in June of 1980. We actually came out in the newspaper, in the Trenton Times, I think it was back then, in the front page of us. And, then the Army came out with this song, be all that you can be, see the world and all that stuff. And so I talked to somebody that I knew, and I resigned from, I didn't tell you that, but I became the freshman class president of my college, too. And,
Nice.
So I resigned the position, and then I left school, and I went to Alabama for my training. I called my family, and they were like worried, where are you? We've been calling you at the school. You haven't answered. And I said, I joined the Army. And they hung up the phone.
Wow.
Because I think it was more of a shock than anything else, because my father was alive then. He was a true veteran. And then we spoke again. What happened? You were in college, and now you're in the Army. And I said, well, it was a decision that I wanted to make. But that was the first and last decision that I ever made in my life without consulting my wife.
Shout out to Ms. Perez. Mrs.
That's right.
Perez.
Clarissa Yanes Perez, I love you.
That's a great shout out. Bill, you got any questions?
Oh man, he took floor, man.
Right.
Yeah,
He did.
Right?
He took floor. I'm just mesmerized, man.
And this was just like the last show, right? We just sat and had this chill
Just
like
chopping it up. Nice conversation. Nice, good
he's still
conversation. I like this.
talking about the first time we had you on. He's like, he came up here, all chill.
It was just so laid back.
And look,
cool.
this guy is a regular guy.
Yeah.
He came back. He didn't forget where he came from. He just told you most of his life story. Most of what he can do.
I just got not a question, but just a statement, Paul. Paul, I'm going to say congratulations, into running this election,
Thank you.
Because Trenton does need a real leadership. And like I said, it's not a question, it's just a statement. What Trenton really needs also is we need someone not only to lead the city, but every time an entity wants to come in and provide continuous paying jobs, career jobs, and 6-7 months later they just up and leave. We need somebody to come in and stay permanent, which will give the city the tax revenue that it needs.
Right.
And it's like they come in, they get everybody excited, and then they leave.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, what happened there? With the leadership. So I just want to say, when you are mayor and an entity wants to come in and provide that tax structure for the city, and provide jobs and career training for whatever that may be,
We're going to call it.
I'm hoping that you'll be able to say, hey, this will be great for the city, it will improve. Oh, sorry. Yeah, thanks. Got a phone call. I just want to say this real quick, that when you become mayor, that you'll see to that whatever business or entity that comes into the city will stay there to provide that tax revenue, for the city.
I got a reply for that, but I think he's got a call first, and then I'll go back to that.
Yes. Caller, thank you for calling Hamilton Radio with the Freestyle Freaks. Caller, where are you calling from? Thank you for calling Freestyle Freaks on Hamilton Radio. Caller, where are you calling from? Who are we talking to?
What's going on, man? It's Mike Magic.
What's up, brother?
Hey, Mike Magic, come on, man.
All right, Torres.
I like this. I like this from Mike. He's becoming a regular caller. Yeah. What's up, Mike? How's everything?
Man, I love y'all show. That's why. Good job, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Much love. I love your show, brother. Thank you.
And then you got my brother Paul and my brother Tyrone up there.
That's
I had
right.
to call in, man.
Thank you very
we also
much,
got
Mike.
Sam in the background, too.
That's right. Thank you, Mike. Mike does a lot for our community. Magic Entertainment is not just entertainment like you would think, but entertainment for children. It delivers a lot of family quality entertainment. He has an annual Easter egg hunt. We were just there He probably had over 250 kids and parents there. He also does the National Night Out, over there on Columbus Park. So he does some great stuff,
And
man.
this is all him. He raises the funds.
Right.
He raises
That's
all.
right.
He makes the calls. He goes all over the and let's not forget that he's an active member of the armed forces.
Yes, he is.
Thank
So
you,
thank
sir,
you for your service.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Thank
And,
you, sir.
and saying that, that's why oftentimes I'm seeing a lot of stuff on social media that angers me a little bit, and that's why sometimes you'll see me out there fighting for Paul, because you should never disrespect a veteran, man. We will always stick together. We're a band of brothers, and that's wrong. A lot of things that they're doing out there is wrong, and if anybody knows how to bring people together, it's the U.S. Army, because they brought us together, and we stay together for the rest of our lives.
That's exactly right. That's
Mike,
exactly right.
And
Thank
what
you,
these
Mike.
people do-
Appreciate
what
you.
these people out there doing,
Mike.
man.
Mike.
What these people out there doing, they dividing people, and that's wrong.
Well, and what they do is they have to divide people in order for them to exist.
That's the status quo.
So when you see that, everybody should realize that they're not thinking about you; they're thinking about themselves. And this is not about them. This is about you. So what we have to do, and something that I do now when I go out and I talk to people, I said, "Do you know who's running for mayor? Do you know?
Yeah.
Do you know who's running for mayor?
We are.
Who's running?
We all are.
No, we all are.
are.
Mike just said it. We
It
all are.
takes- it-
And
remember,
what
it
you
takes
have
the
to
community.
what you have to do is you have to listen to the people speaking, look at their backgrounds, and then figure out, are they going to really provide the services and leadership that you need or that we need at this time? It's not a game. This is not for little kids.
Real life.
Ruben was just asking the question about investment in our city. I want to get to that. We cannot get investment in this city because we have a dysfunctional government. Whenever you have bad water, contaminated water, and I'm a $300 million company, why am I going to come and invest in your city? I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to poison my workers. Or if I have to drive up and down your streets and it looked like Afghanistan, you know what I mean? Why would I do that? Right? But if you are a struggling city, and now you are demonstrating that you can count your money, that you can clean your streets, that you can patrol your alleyways and thoroughways,
You cut the trees.
that you can cut down on illegal dumping, that you have a plan for abandoned homes, right? That you are in every sector and corner of the city. Then I'm going to say, okay, maybe they're turning around, and maybe I want to join this team to help them along, because we're going to need help. We just talked about that, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to be able
Hey,
to
Paul,
just
you want to
have-
know what I want your help with?
What's that, baby?
Check this out, right? I have this problem that when I'm driving, there's comedians that jump in the middle of the road named Billy the Kid, especially. So I want to know if when you become mayor, if you could get the comedians off the street.
You want to bring this back up, huh? I thought we put this
So
in the bag.
we need a comedian don't cross sign.
Yo, man. Much
Man, I'm just
love.
kidding, but God bless all of you, man. Keep doing your thing, and
God
Paul,
bless
keep running
you.
your race, man.
God
Don't let
bless
them
you,
stop
Mike, and thank you for your support, and
Thank you,
also
Mike.
thank you for your service, baby. We really love you.
Yeah, thank you for
Mike
your
said
service.
something very important that we need to reemphasize, and that is that, when we fight in the military, and when we go out there and we struggle together. We don't see color of skin; we see green. We're one lean, mean fighting machine. That's what we are. And we have to trust one another, because the sense of urgency is so incredible, that you don't have time for silliness. These individuals, and I call them the best and the brightest because that's what they always say, these individuals do not understand that kind of leadership. They don't understand that kind of seriousness. They don't understand the sense of urgency that President Obama spoke about before when it comes to really looking after the people of this great country and this great city of Trenton.
Caller. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling Hamilton Radio. We're the Freestyle Freaks. Caller. Where you calling from? Who's
I'm
calling?
calling from Trenton, New Jersey.
Shout out Trenton.
Okay.
Who's calling? How are you doing
This
tonight?
is the bishop, Dr. Sidney L. Gaines.
How you doing? How's everything?
All is going well. I just have a question for Mr. Perez there.
All righty, Bishop,
Yeah.
go ahead. Fire.
All right. Now, what are you going to do with the Trenton police chaplains? First of all, do you know what the Trenton police chaplains are?
Now,
And
I can't believe you asked me that question, Bishop, because I'm gonna give you a little bit of history on that. Because see, I can't take credit for everything, but I can take credit for this, and that is I remember when we first started putting some of our people together so that they could join the Trenton chaplains, and we brought the Latino pastors together. We brought some of the black ministers together, and that's how I met Bishop. Well, I met Bishop and his Dr. Shirley Gaines way before that, and then we sat down with Nate Davis. Is it Nate Davis? Yeah, Nate Davis.
That's right.
Yeah, we sat with Nate Davis over there in the pizza shop on Layla Street, talking about how we were going to enhance this police chaplain program. So why would you ask me that question, Bishop? Come on now. Was that a trick question?
No. I just want to know, when you become mayor, are you going to use the Trenton police chaplain?
Of course. Of course. Listen, yes, and yes. Now, here's the thing. We need to make sure that we professionalize the force. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to make sure that we write out a real mission statement, and then we're going to make sure that we capture all of those wonderful capabilities that people bring, because they're not just clergy. They're also counselors, mentors, and everything else. So we want to make sure that it's a real program.
Right.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Perez, I'm glad that you explained that, because as we're beginning to learn, a lot of people don't even know what a Trenton police chaplain is. So we're glad to hear you expound on that. And also, I want to say hello to everyone that's up there on the panel.
Hello.
Bishop Gaines, what's going on, Bishop?
How you doing, Bishop Gaines?
You got it. Let me just throw this out there a moment. Someone asked me today, says, why are you supporting Mr. Paul Perez? Why you like Mr. Paul Perez so much? And my reply to them was, well, 5 years ago when Mr. Perez ran, I watched that man work hard. In fact, that man worked so hard that he had me sweating out there with him. And I watched him lose like a champ. Went and licked the sores and came right back out and never stopped campaigning.
That's right.
That man has gained my respect. A man that can lose like he lost and then turn around and come back and say, hey, I'm in this thing to win it, and work just as hard the last 4 years up until now, and he's still working hard. You got to respect a man like that. Not only that, but a man like that, you got to know that he cares and he's compassionate about his city. That's why I support Mr. Perez. That's why I believe that Mr. Perez is the man that can help our city out the shape that it's in, along with a good council board. This is his time. It's his season. I just felt like somebody need to hear that.
Well, I appreciate that, Bishop. Thank you so much. And you know that we have been, you guys have been right there next to me. So I also want to give a shout out to Dr. Shirley Gaines, who's running for the West Ward, and I support her 100%. She has been dedicated to this community. I've seen her work. I know what she's done, and she will be good for the West Ward.
Amen. Now she's smiling. She's smiling so hard. Now she might not take that smile off her face tonight.
Thank you, Bishop, for calling. Thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you.
Thank you.
Right. God bless you, sir.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Before we go, we're gonna hit on some shout outs. Billy, shout outs.
I got a question.
Okay.
before y'all close it out. All right, this is Monk. I want to ask a question for Paul. Do you have a plan for recreation and job creation for the youth and young adults?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm glad that you asked me. And you know, listen, I'm here for you. So if you guys want to continue to ask me questions,
Yeah, we don't.
Fire
we,
away.
We can stay
But,
on here
yeah,
for another
okay,
couple
so
more minutes.
because
Yeah, y'all the last
because
show. Nobody after y'all.
okay, good, because it's very important. So recreation is just as important as education in a child's life. Okay, I came up in the city of Trenton, and I played Little League baseball. I remember playing at North Trenton Little League when I was so sorry I used to wear 00. Okay, and I was that kid that was at the end of the bench, 2 outs in the 7th inning, and then they say, let that kid come up and bat.
Oh, no.
But then what I did was I learned. I had a learning experience that season, and I came back to my house on 503 Market Street, and we went back there in Pullins Alley, and we created a batting cage, okay? And by the time we came back, I was an all-star the next year because it made me not want to be that person. So it showed me how to struggle through something but want to become a winner. Recreation is not just there to recreate, it's also there to teach life's lessons. So I absolutely support recreation. What's happening in our great city is that we have been mismanaged for so long. We don't know how much money we have. We don't know what resources we have. So I'm going to have to, upon this victory, create a transition team that's going to be able to go into each and every department and conduct what we call an evaluation and then find out what we're doing with money, okay, and free up some of that money so that we can slowly but surely recreate this recreation program, okay? But we also have to partner with the schools because we have a lot of facilities available from the schools, and then we have surrounding partners who have programs like Princeton's Blairstown Center. They don't only do science, technology, engineering, and math. They also support in other ways. So what we need to do is we need to be creative. We need to have that instant credibility that's going to allow people to want to support Trenton and its recreational capabilities or abilities so that our children can have more opportunities. Now, I have to say that there are some great people out there already doing some great things. North Trenton Little League, like I just said, you got the West End Little League, you have the Chambersburg Little League, you got 611. We actually sponsored a team in 611 in South Trenton through my Partnerships for Trenton. So we've been actively involved. Robert Smarr and his boxing program, that we support. So absolutely. That's just like an automatic for me. All right.
Thank you, Muck, for the question.
All right.
Any questions? Any more questions back there? Good, Billy. You sure? You sure?
I got nothing.
You
Well,
sure?
I
I mean,
wanna
listen,
say
we can
this.
go for another 10 minutes.
Yeah,
10 more
I
minutes.
want to say this because we do summer league games in East Trenton every summer for since 2009, and we haven't had any fights or shootings and anything like that. And we also teach film classes at the CYO and the Habitat for Humanity. We were looking for extra support to make that a citywide thing. We also have possession of the buildings, the old Blessed Sacrament School and the nunnery next to it. It was originally it's called the Leander Project. It was originally for boys, for boys where we'll house them, and they'll go to the school, and we'll feed them there and bring people in to mentor them. We would need support for that. So if you have a vision or want to get involved with that, that would be greatly appreciated.
Well, I think my vision would be this. My vision would be we need an accurate inventory of all nonprofits and ideas that are out there that would be supporting the uplifting of our community. And then we would be creating a partnerships with them in City Hall and, meet on a monthly basis maybe at first until we can grow into a quarterly basis. And we could start targeting opportunities to bring in funds to support those kinds of things. You don't always have to go after government money to do things, okay? There's a lot of philanthropy that goes on. There's still a lot of rich folks out there who want to do some good stuff, okay? But what they don't want to do is they don't want to give you money and then watch you waste it away. So there is responsible behavior that needs to be attached to that commitment, okay? So So my responsibility as a leader would be to advocate for my city on every possible level, as long as it's bringing an advantage to those who live in this city, okay? So I would be open to all of those. In fact, Cal and I first, even though I know Cal's father, all right, I grew up, his father went to school with my brother, and I grew up around him. Cal and I actually met officially at the West Trenton softball league. What is it called? The United Softball League? Yeah, because we ended up playing together. I was playing that year until I pulled a muscle, playing for South Trenton. And don't laugh, because I'm pretty good, I am, so I'm from Trenton, so I get to brag, and I'm good.
So I think that's a thing with us. We all do that when we get out of Trenton. You know you bad, you got to say something.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I still do it.
Yeah. I am running for mayor, but I'm still from Trenton. You know what I mean? So, but yes, those opportunities, anything that's going to uplift our community, man. Because we do have to work with what we have right now, and this is the biggest mistake that I keep seeing over and over again. And somebody just showed me a video, and I think Sam was the one that recorded it because nobody else had access to me at that time. It was in June of 2014, and I had on a white T-shirt, and I had just moved into my other home because I moved from Mill Hill over to Hiltolia, and they were asking me about my predictions for the next 4 years. And when you see that video, man, it's like spot on. You know exactly what happened, and it was all based on the fact that they surround themselves with the kinds of individuals who lack the experience that we need. Okay, Trenton has some real problems. Okay, this is not a game. You cannot be electing people because they throw nice parties, or because you go to church with them, or because you know them, or because they're your relatives. You got to elect somebody that, when you think about that person, I told you, you're running for mayor. So here's what you got to do. Am I going to make more money? Am I going to pay more taxes? Are my streets going to be clean? Are my children going to be safe? Am I going to be able to eat at night? Or am I going to end up homeless? You see? Because those are the kinds of issues that we're facing right now, because the city is just about bankrupt. All right? So we don't have time for people to say the kind of things that make everybody say, all right, when what we really want them to say is, I truly understand what it's going to take to deal with this problem because I understand the handicap. That means I'm not going to go in there lying to you because I know we got challenges. And I'm going to be putting together a plan to ensure that we start tackling those problems right away. I'm not going to be guessing at it, okay? It's a lot of fun when you run a campaign, but when you find yourself behind a desk and you're by yourself, it's a heavy load to carry. And then it'll be too late for us because there's a devastating cascading effect that comes right to our homes, our pockets, and our children's lives.
Thank you for that. We have any more questions before we close? Billy, your shout-outs.
Man, shout out to Hamilton Radio. Shout out to you, Ralph, man. Definitely most importantly, shout out to Paul PEREZ for coming through, man. The whole campaign. Tyrone, is it? Tyrone as well. Cal, good dude. Definitely good dude. Cal, the entire staff. Every last one of you guys, man, got some awesome characters. And, me and Cal, we definitely go back. I was real surprised to see my brother over there, man. So you got a real good dude inside your corner there. I love your character, man, and your entire conversation, man. Just talking with you, you literally take me to a whole nother place, and it's a real good space, man. And
it's
you're definitely hands-on.
It's hands-on, uplifting.
You're everywhere, and I definitely appreciate everything that you're doing right now.
So before we go, will you vote the pledge or pledge to vote for Paul PEREZ?
Hey, listen, it's going down. Do you understand?
Okay, there you go.
It's going down.
All right. Because I won't say anything else, but it's going to take all of us. Yeah. Okay, you guys should be part of our team. We need everybody.
Well, listen, before I get into my shout-outs, I don't live in Trenton, but I actually live on the border. So whatever happens in Trenton directly affects me and my family. So, of course, I can't vote but you got my support. You know.
Thank you very much.
I've given you, when you announced it, I was there. You know, so I've been, you know, since you came on the show before. I said, listen, we need a person like you in office. You know, you have genuinely, you care. You know, I can see it in your demeanor. I not to say anything bad about the Trentonian, but I seen the videos of all the candidates, and honestly, I seen 2 candidates, and you were number 1 that I felt.
Well, that's good.
You know,
that's good. Now, what are we gonna do to get rid of the other guy?
But wholeheartedly, you know.
Yeah, I'm from Trenton, man.
I like that. I like that little twist you put in.
Yeah.
But listen, I want to thank Paul. You know, I know he's a busy guy. You know, it's been we've been trying to get him on for weeks upon weeks. And we were able to block out this night for him. I want to thank his whole panel, his whole campaign. You know, without you guys, you know, he can't be here. You know, so like you said, we both.
Come on over here, Sam, so they can see you
get
real
in
quick.
Here,
Hurry up,
no,
Sam.
get in here. Come on, just get in here. Get in here. Come on, Sam. I've been trying to get him. I've been trying to get this inspirational guy on for like 2 or 3 years. Good friend of mine, Sam. Very inspirational. Another leader of the city. You know, you got to understand that when we say the community helps run the city, you know, he needs the community behind him. If he's gonna run and he's gonna win, he needs the community behind him. And this is the community. I mean, you don't. I cannot explain it anymore. I mean, it's important that you guys get out and vote. You know, like I said, and Paul will agree. If you're not gonna vote, listen. Try to vote for Paul. If you've already made up your mind, listen. If I could change your mind, try to vote for Paul. Listen, he's got my full support. I'm on Facebook. When they bash him, I'm on there. You know, he doesn't pay me to do this. I do this because I keep it real. And you know what? This guy's a genuine guy. He never forgot where he came from. Came back to try to help the city. He's been helping the city for years upon years. I'm out there. I'm watching it. I see it. You know, and he's got the community behind him. You know, so shout out to Paul. Shout out to his campaign. Shout out to Tyrone. You know, shout out to Cal. I don't know your name, sir. Mike
Ronaldo.
Mike, you're the email guy. Mike. Shout out to Sam.
That's right.
And shout out to you, of course. I didn't get your name.
God is EK.
EK.
There you go.
And shout out to everybody. It's part of my life. Shout out to my wife, my daughter. Shout out to all the people that's
God bless her.
All about, you know, that's all affect me, all touch me every moment of my life. I may not see you, but you know what? If you see me, we have conversations. We don't see each other for years. We just sit there and have conversations like nothing. I love you guys. Listen, I love you guys for watching. Everybody is watching. Tune in. Listen, Eric, I'll get you to sign. And thank you for tuning in. You know, listen, I got a Channel 3 on here. You got to check it out. DJ Juice tuning in. Mike, you know, Paul's family. Everybody tuned in. If I forgot you, Justin. You know, if I forgot you, listen, don't crucify me. Zane, Bishop Gaines, you know, love you guys, all the listeners all around the world. You know, thank you guys for giving us a platform, for always being there for us. Because without you guys, we would just be 2 guys just talking back and forth. Thank you guys for always giving us this platform to allow us to do something like this. You know, this is the first, you know, mayor candidate to be on this show this year in this historical race. And I can't, like I said, I can't express how important this election is for Trenton. Like I said, I live on the border, so it affects me. I don't drink that water, but I have to bathe in it. So, you know, I'm just keeping it real. I just gotta keep it. I'm keeping it real. I'm calling how I'll call it. You know, please get out and vote. May 8th, Paul PEREZ for mayor. You know, a true leader, a mayor that will run the city the right way. And he's got my full support. Thank you to Hamilton Radio. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Much respect. You know, Hamilton Radio. You guys. You know, Billy. And everybody is always watching. Thank you guys. Peace, and we're out.